Hello, beautiful people. So today is my first time ever using a round canvas, and I have no plan, like no plan whatsoever. I just mixed the colors and started painting. Sometimes it's great to have no plan because you don't have any expectations about what it's going to be like, but I did decide to use a turntable, something also I haven't used on a painting very often, maybe one other time. But I did, you can see the very first thing that I did is put a spiral of gold down. So the canvas doesn't have any other base coat or anything, it's just a spiral of gold. And then I made a layered cup. This is a small cup, it's just a little half cup silicone cup. The colors today were inspired by Native American colors, and you know, I grew up outside of the Crow Agency in Montana. I grew up in Wyoming, but we were really close to the Crow Agency, and so the Indian culture was definitely prevalent in my growing up. And actually my very best friend in high school was Indian. I didn't even know she was Indian, but look at those turquoise cells growing. Aren't they pretty? Yeah, I was very, very ignorant to things like race, growing up in a very sheltered environment in Wyoming, and what I would say, it, you know, sometimes you just don't even know any better until you go out and explore the world. I was very lucky though to have traveled a bit as a child. My parents definitely tried to get us out of Wyoming and experience the world, so we were very blessed that way, and we traveled all across America, summer trips every single summer, so it was great. And we did, back then you just drove across country, and so sorry, I digress. But anyway, so I layer this cup with, the colors that I used were black, Dyke Brown, burnt sienna, burnt orange. Then I used nickel azo gold, actual 24 karat gold, Payne's gray, and the extreme sheen turquoise color is extreme sheen aquamarine. And look how pretty. It's a magic cell maker, you guys, that extreme sheen aquamarine. It makes the most beautiful lacing and cells. So if you haven't tried it, someone asked where to get it. Doesn't that look like turquoise jewelry? It's just so pretty. But if you're wondering where to get it, Amazon.com is a good place to order from. Michael's doesn't always have it. It's by Decoart. Decoart Extreme Sheen. So it's a beautiful line of paints, and all of the extreme sheen colors are really awesome and very metallic and very shiny. The one color I did not mention yet is that bright orange. That's my turntable, you guys. Look how well used it is. But that bright orange you see in there is by Soho. I believe I got it from Dick Blick. I've never actually used Soho colors before. They're very vibrant. And I bought a few colors to use. Because I've been experiencing the thin Floetrol, I just had to invest in some heavier body paints because I can't go without painting, y'all. I really, really can't. And so I just had to invest in a few heavy body paints so I could use, you know, the thinner Floetrol. And that my creativity wasn't completely bound to a specific recipe of thick Floetrol for my fluid acrylics. So I just, you know, it's just called adapting, and sometimes you just have to adapt. So, but this to me, doesn't it just look like a beautiful medicine wheel? I don't know if you guys are familiar with medicine wheels, but where I grew up in Wyoming, there is a medicine wheel that the Crow Indians used to, you know, spend time in prayer and worship. There's a very powerful and incredible energy just radiating off the land surrounding the medicine wheel. You can feel it when you go up there if you're in tune with that kind of thing, and which I definitely am. So I didn't plan on spinning this very hard because I'm a renter and I have wood floors, so I literally cannot just spin like crazy. It's not really, the canvas isn't affixed on there in any way, and I didn't want it to go flying off and frisbee paint everywhere. So I couldn't spin it really hard. That's one reason why I've been so careful with how much paint I put on that canvas. I didn't want to just flood it with paint and, you know, have to have a ton of runoff. So that's why I was not very generous with that. But having said that, I need to fill in those white spaces somehow. So I use my finger to gently coax paint into the white spaces, and then I make a really tiny little baby cup of some of the colors, and I squeeze the silicone cup together to make a very thin line, and then I'm just going in where the white spaces, where the canvas is showing white space. And now this might look out of place at first, but luckily we have this on a spinner, so I know that gravity, once I spin it a little bit, is going to push those together. And let's face it, there's a lot of wild patterns on this one already. We have the beautiful spiral gold all the way through from the center to the end. We have the lovely brown and turquoise patterns with the turquoise pebble-looking cells. We have long striations of white running through that area there at the bottom. The beautiful spiral in the center, the conch shell looking spiral almost. I love that part. Very pretty. So we have a lot of patterns going on already, and so I know that spinning it is not going to, or adding that little pour wasn't going to do anything terrible to the design. And there's a close-up of what that looks like. Isn't it pretty? And I think it's going to dry so well with the gold just running through there like that. It's going to be very brilliant. I love the colors and the boldness of this piece. But it was very peaceful to me in creation as well. It was just fun. It was just fun. I just was spinning, and it was really fun to work on something round. And so my thought was, with kind of the Native American theme and the colors and the medicine wheel, I thought I'm going to make one of my balloon rolls that looks like a feather, or just give it like a feathery effect coming right in the center there. And I didn't want to mess up that brown conch shell sort of pattern, but I wanted a feathery look. And what I forgot was that there's black underneath there in that pour. So that was my biggest issue. When I started doing my balloon rolls, that black came through and started to muddy up some things. So I put some more turquoise on my balloon and I added it back in. And you can see it just made the prettiest feathery pattern. And I was really pleased at this point. But that little orangey red center that I just made, it left a white spot of bare canvas, so that was no good. And then I wanted to bring the eye from the outside of the canvas to the center, so that was my plan with this. But as I kept rolling the balloon over and over and over and over, I realized I should have just left it like this in hindsight, because I love the center and I love that turquoise look. And even this little movement, I'm like, okay, I'm still okay. I'm still okay with it, but you know, it was so gray towards the edge. I don't know, guys. I just kept going. Sometimes I should stop. There's just something about that grayness that I'm not loving. And if it was black or something, I would have been happy, but here's the part where I just totally ruin the balloon roll. It's just, do you see the pattern? And then now it's just gray. So now I've ruined all the turquoise and white that I've put on there. It's completely muddy. And no way to fix it with further balloon rolls. There's just no way. So I scrape it off. And before you start crying or cringing, trust me, it's not always easy to scrape something off that you love. I really love this painting and I'm really excited by it. But this is my way of saving or trying to save something that's just mediocre. And so I put in the center, I put the warm colors because I want the eye to be drawn toward the center of the piece. To me, that's the most interesting part. So I make sure that the colors that I put in the cup first was the gold and the oranges. And then I transition to the Payne's Gray and the turquoise colors, the blue. And now I'm just trying to cover the space that was left by the scraping. And then my next goal will be to find a way to integrate the two. So I take my stick, my wooden stick, and I'm pulling the color from the old pour through to the end, which provides basically a coherence, a cohesiveness, I guess is what I'm trying to say, between the old pour and the edge. And then I continue those same type of patterns with the center, the old conch shell looking pattern, and the new pour. And the reason I'm doing this is because I want them to look integrated. I want them to look like this is something I did purposefully and they were married together. Not that it was an afterthought, but that the new pour is something that was meant to go with the old. Now, I'm following the lines, the naturally occurring lines of the painting, because that's of course going to make it look more organic. See, I'm just pulling some of that brown into the orange, into the gold. I'm just making it look like it was meant to be there. You guys, thank you so much for watching my channel. Thank you for all your support. I really appreciate it. This has been a challenging point in my life. You know, we all have those times. I know I keep saying it. It's been going on for quite a while, and I'm definitely dealing with some things. Thank God for my art and for all of you and for the support that I receive. Just comments and kind words, and the ability to create beautiful art and share it with people. I'm deeply humbled, and I feel an immense state of gratitude for each and every one of you. And as always, I can't wait to make more art videos just for you. Don't forget to subscribe and hit all notifications so I can make more art videos just for you.